Here's a question every roofing company should ask before outsourcing estimates or supplements. What happens in a slow month? If your estimating partner charges a monthly fee, requires a recurring commitment, or expects a minimum number of files, you may still be paying when claim volume drops. And roofing volume does change. Storm seasons move. Pipelines rise and fall. Some months you may need 10 estimates. Other months you may need 1. That is why American Roof Supplements chose a different model. No monthly fee. No minimum number of jobs. No recurring estimating plan. You use us when you need us, and you pay for the work you actually send. In this video, we'll explain why we built the company this way, how pay-per-job estimating compares with recurring plans, who this approach works best for, and what you should evaluate before choosing any Xactimate or supplement writing partner. First, let's be fair. There is no single pricing model used by every estimating company. Some services offer monthly subscriptions or retainers. Some charge a flat fee per estimate or supplement. Some charge a percentage tied to an approved increase. And some offer a combination. A monthly plan can make sense for a high-volume restoration company that consistently uses that capacity. But not every roofing company needs a recurring plan. If your volume changes month to month, a fixed monthly expense can become overhead you carry whether you use the service or not. Our approach is simpler. Send us a job when you have a job. Roofing is not always predictable. A hailstorm can create a sudden spike in inspections and claims. The next month may be quiet. One salesperson may close several insurance jobs, while another market slows down. A contractor may do mostly retail work for part of the year and then move heavily into insurance restoration after a storm. That variability is why we do not believe you should have to predict your estimating volume months in advance. If you need one estimate, send one. If you need several, send several. If you do not need anything this month, there is no recurring monthly estimating bill simply because you enrolled in a plan. The service should flex with your workload. There is another reason we use a pay-per-job model. It keeps the pressure on us. With a pay-per-job relationship, we have to earn the next file. The estimate has to be useful. The communication has to be clear. The turnaround has to be reliable. And when a supported revision is needed, it has to be handled professionally. If we stop providing value, you can stop sending new work. We want contractors to keep sending work because the service is useful and earns the next file, not because they have to meet a monthly volume requirement. No minimum is just as important. Imagine you are new to insurance restoration. You may have one roof, not 20 claims waiting. You want a professional Xactimate estimate before the adjuster meeting, but you are not ready to hire an estimator or commit to a recurring package. That should not prevent you from getting help. The same applies to established companies. Maybe your internal estimator is overloaded. Someone is on vacation, or a storm creates a temporary backlog. A no-minimum model lets you use outside help as overflow capacity instead of restructuring your entire back office. At American Roof Supplements, you can send the files you actually need help with, without having to meet a minimum number of jobs. At American Roof Supplements, the pricing is straightforward. A residential Xactimate estimate before the adjuster meeting is $50. If we prepare that estimate and the job is approved, the follow-up supplement for the same claim is $100. A standalone residential supplement is $150. So if we prepare the original estimate and later prepare the supplement, we are not charging you $50 and then another full standalone supplement price. And if you have never worked with us before, your first estimate or supplement is free. That gives you a chance to test the workflow before deciding whether to send another file. Promises are easy. Every company can say its service is fast, accurate, helpful, or professional. The better test is the actual file. Send one job. Look at the estimate or supplement. See how the communication feels. See whether the turnaround works for your operation. See how supported revisions are handled. Then make your own decision. You should be able to judge us by the work in front of you, not by a 12-month sales promise, not by a presentation, and not because you already paid for another month of service. Flexible pay-per-job pricing should not be confused with low standards. The business model is flexible. The documentation still needs to be professional. A supplement should be based on legitimate missing or incorrect scope and supported by available evidence, such as photographs, measurements, invoices, reports, specialty bids, and applicable code references. And a supplement cannot rewrite the policy. It cannot remove the homeowner's deductible. It cannot create coverage for excluded damage. And it cannot guarantee carrier approval. Whether you pay monthly, per file, or another way, documentation quality still matters more than the billing model. When you compare estimating companies, do not ask only, "What does it cost?" Ask what happens after you send the file. How long is the turnaround? Are revisions included? Can the document carry your company's branding? Does the writer understand residential roofing? Are they reviewing measurements and photographs instead of simply copying the carrier estimate? Do they understand the difference between documenting legitimate scope and trying to manufacture coverage? At American Roof Supplements, supported revisions are free. Documents can be branded with your roofing company's logo. And eligible residential work is backed by our 72-hour turnaround guarantee, excluding Sundays and major holidays, or the service is free. A pay-per-job model is not automatically best for every company. If you operate at high, predictable volume every month and a retainer gives you a meaningful cost or workflow advantage, a monthly plan may make sense. The important thing is knowing what you are buying. Are you actually using the files included in the plan? Are there extra charges? What happens if your volume falls? Can you reduce or stop the service easily? And what services are actually included? Compare the total workflow, not just the headline number. For many roofing companies with seasonal or changing claim volume, paying only when a real file exists can simply be easier to understand and easier to budget. Every roofing company already has recurring expenses: vehicles, insurance, payroll, software, phones, office costs, marketing. You cannot eliminate all fixed overhead. But when a service can scale directly with production, there is value in keeping it variable. If there are no supplement files this week, you do not need supplement writing capacity sitting idle. When several files arrive after a storm, you need a way to add capacity quickly. That is the role we want to play, a back-office resource you use when the work is actually there, not another recurring monthly obligation sitting on your expense sheet. The point of outsourcing Xactimate work is not simply to avoid software. It is to protect your time. Every hour spent building estimates, checking quantities, organizing photographs, writing scope notes, or revising supplements is an hour not spent somewhere else. For some contractors, writing estimates internally is the right choice. For others, those hours are better spent talking with homeowners, training salespeople, inspecting properties, managing production, checking crews, and closing jobs. Our model gives you another option without requiring you to redesign your business around a recurring estimating plan. So when we say, no monthly fees, no minimum number of jobs, no recurring estimating plan, this is what we mean. You do not have to keep sending files to satisfy a monthly plan or minimum volume requirement. You do not have to hit a monthly quota, and you do not have to carry a recurring estimating expense during a month when you do not need the service. Send us a real job, judge the work, then decide whether we earn the next one. If you have never worked with American Roof Supplements before, your first estimate or supplement is completely free. A residential Xactimate estimate is $50. A follow-up supplement is $100 when we prepared the original estimate. A standalone residential supplement is $150. There are no monthly fees and no minimum number of jobs. You send us work when you need it. To get started, schedule an appointment through the booking widget at AmericanRoofSupplements.com or call or text 469-515-8435. You focus on homeowners, crews, production, and sales. Leave the computer work to us.